from students, from student leaders, from faculty, from staff, all the feedback.
Welcome back to Ignite, where we ignite conversations on our campus. My name is Elise Deschamps, and I'm a junior.
Hey guys, I am Aaron, and I am also a junior.
Today we are discussing how our Adventist colleges, specifically Southern, are tackling student mental health. Aaron got the guest for today, so who do we have here?
We have some of my favorite people right over here. We have Miss Tiffany Bartell, herself in the flesh, and Miss Lizbeth-Diep right here. Why don't you introduce yourselves to our camera?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Tiffany Bartell, and I'm the QEP director here at Southern.
And I'm Lizbeth-Diep, and I'm a sophomore public relations major.
So, really quickly, the first time I ever heard about the QEP, I was just like, this has no application to me. This does not matter.
What is a QEP?
What is this?
What do the letters
acronym?
mean? Yes.
So what exactly is the QEP for those of us who have no idea what it is?
Absolutely. So I'll admit that a little less than 2 years ago, I had the same question. I was in a meeting and they said, oh, mental health would be a great idea for the QEP. And I said, I'm so sorry, what is a QEP? I don't know what those letters mean. So it's a quality enhancement plan. So every 10 years, the university has to be go through the reaffirmation process, which is how it gets accredited. And in those 10 years, they have to have a 5-year initiative that somehow enhances the student's experience. It can be academic. Some schools do it writing. Our last QEP was actually physical health. And so that's where you got the duck walk and the 4 PE credits needed and, all those activity trackers and all of that.
So like all of those like things like the duck walk and stuff were like recent ads because of this QEP.
So they were implemented in the last QEP. Okay. And so recent, I think, is somewhat relative, right? But it was in the last 5-year plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, is this something that all colleges do?
It is,
okay.
Yes. So we're accredited through SAC-COC, which is the accreditation body for our region. So Lee University, UTC, all of them are part of that. And so they actually came to campus, I guess it was last month, and you guys got to meet them. But yes, every college and university that's accredited has to go through this process and has to have a quality enhancement plan. Even schools that are a little bit smaller, like Bryan College in Dayton, they also have a QEP.
What sort of things kind of like led this focus group, this like, I guess like study of Southern, what sort of like details or specifics like led to this conclusion of a theme, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, the focus group that you both participate in was the accreditation team coming and making sure that campus thought this was a good focus. Like if they get to campus and all the students are like, our mental health is fine, we don't need this, which didn't happen, as you might all, guess.
Yes.
I would say not.
Yay.
Yeah. Yay, sort of. So we had meetings before in the last couple of years and done the mental health surveys. Aaron, you helped us with the promotion for that. And incidentally, we had done 2 surveys in 2021 school year. The first one, we had a little over 300 participants, I think. The next one, we kind of enlisted your school here, this department's help, and tripled our response rate.
Wow.
So, yay, student
crazy.
participation. Yeah. And so some of the information that we got back from that you have that we'll share today was part of us being like, okay, we feel like mental health is kind of coming to a tipping point and a breaking point for our students, and we feel like anecdotally it's presenting barriers to them having an enhanced experience or having just a possible academic experience where they can come to college and they can get the degree they want and participate actively. We feel that way, but we have to check and make sure that's actually the case. So your focus groups that you were in were part of the accreditation teams, just checking with our stakeholders to say, what do you think?
Lots of logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'm wondering about, so the physical health QEP was the last one.
Yes.
And I know that a lot of students actually ended up frustrated with having to take 4 PE classes. Well, some of them. Mostly the Rockport Mile or the Duck Walk seemed to actually make a lot of the students mad. how do we make the mental health, and this was brought up sort of inside of our focus group. Thank you. Yeah. How do we make it like something that the students can actually enjoy learning the materials?
Yeah, so we don't want to create anything that's like distressing to students through this, because that would kind of go against
the opposite.
Yeah. So our overarching goals that we identified, and maybe is this a good time for me to share the survey results?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the slide.
So we did the 2 surveys, and basically what came up that the students were sharing was that over 50% reported high psychological distress and high stress levels. Probably not surprising. I know you work as a mentor, so you see that with the freshmen, I'm sure, and we all feel it, ourselves when we're in the studies. And then also, I think it was over half reported their mental health is poor or fair. And so when we're looking at that, and we're the support system for these students, that's really troubling that over half of our students just don't feel good and their mental health is poor, because your brain, yes, it governs your feelings and, your emotions and your experiences, hold your trauma and your story, but it's also the thing that you're asking to think and learn. And what we know is that, psychological distress and stress in general, trauma, they change the way the brain works. And so you come into college really struggling or suffering, or maybe it happens here, and then you want that same brain to be like performing at this level, and we want to be kind to our brains. So we don't want it to be distressing. We don't want more work.
You're right on the front lines. All the freshmen, as they come in, you're mentoring them. What is that like?
I take it as an honor that people, not only because it's my job and they're going to tell me, but like that they feel safe to tell me. And so a lot of the times I'm like, okay, so what can I do with this information? Because I'm not like, oh, I don't have mental health struggles. Like, that's not the case. But mine look differently from yours. And I'm catering to 11 to 10 people. And I'm like, I can relate, I can resonate, but not to the point where I'm like, it's hard, and like the way you communicate to each one of them is going to be different. I can't talk to you the way I'm going to talk to you or help you, and you receive things differently because of the way your brain is set up or the way you've been raised, your upbringing, and your psychological. It's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're not like a mental health professional.
Exactly. I'm a sophomore in university. That's not even a psychology major. Or social
but you're
work.
still being asked to provide support and to sit with them when they're talking about anxious feelings and thoughts and sadness and panic attacks and all these things.
100%.
Yeah.
So, definitely the first year experience is like, hey, if you have any questions, like text or call us like on the jump, like we'll be there, which is also very helpful. And I did not use it for once because I was like, and also the whole topic of like, this is my privacy. Like, are you going to put me on blast? I don't want academic administration to know. I don't want my parents to know. Don't tell my friends. So I'm like, I have even more responsibility. So it's like, it's a lot of different things. And, I have my own life as well. You have your own life as well. And this is not to throw shade to anybody who's ever opened up to me, like I said. And I always try to affirm them, like, I appreciate you sharing instead of like holding it in to the point where it just gets worse. So it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge. But it also takes, I'm not trying to like hype myself up or anything, but like it also takes somebody that can handle that. But if I'm not able to, then we're just both drowning, and we're not progressing in any shape or form, neither you or me. So that's why when I was in that focus group, I was like, no, because thank you so much. Like, you actually know that we go through this, and you're actually looking for solutions. And so I was really honored to be there and also represent people or students that are in the same boat as me. So
absolutely.
So were there like any sort of things that Southern will implement as a result of this QEP?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is, you guys probably aren't old enough for this to like be funny to you, but there used to be a slogan, no new taxes. It was like a presidential campaign, no new classes.
Oh,
so
awesome.
So that's that might be an important thing to say.
No, like when it like no new classes, do they mean like no more required classes?
Yeah, so no classes are coming out of the QEP. No new courses that are required are coming out.
Bartell for president.
No.
He's like, oh.
No.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But so we are going to be putting some course modules strategically into classes, because with a QEP, you have to have a knowledge acquisition and then also some kind of like a practical like effect. So like you're talking about, we don't want more work, but we need to, like, when you're sitting with that freshman, you want to know like what to do, because one thing I've heard from faculty, staff, student leaders is that there's no worse feeling than sitting with someone who's struggling or suffering and being like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That powerlessness and helplessness, and then it's kind of contagious because they're like, you don't know what to do, and I don't know what to do. And so, one thing that we started over the last year was more mental health literacy trainings for student leaders. And it's not, where it needs to be. We need to be doing it more than just in the fall as you're coming in. And it needs to be repetitive because, we did one and you weren't able to come. And so just knowing that, like, people are falling through the cracks. So,
how about like the rest
of
the student body?
So what we've noticed is we have a large amount of just stress that happens with freshmen. And so we want to start their time off at Southern learning about stress. So we're going to have modules on the stress response cycle. So what's happening in your body when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling anxious.
I'm like, I generally have said like, man, I feel bad for my body because like I don't even know what's going on. I don't know A&P or anything like that. But like I know whenever I'm tense and I'm like, no, because I know this is going to bite back in like 10 years. You can be like, yeah, you have all these like chronic disorders.
So
and like that's a real thing that I'm not thinking about because I'm stressed right now.
Like there are like, for example, like myself, I have, and I'm about to guess I'm just going to show this on Ignite, but like I have like a hormone imbalance and that raises my cortisol levels.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now you know why we're starting with heavy content with the freshmen, right? Because we realize it's not a one and done for anybody, but we want to get that information to their hands. If you do not sleep, if you do not eat at regular times in a day, your mental health will not be good because your body just can't. The three, like if you want to think about it, your mental health is kind of like a stool and you have those three legs: sleep, exercise, nutrition. But we don't want to do it in a shaming way of like, oh, you're anxious, you must not be taking care of your body, you must not be eating right. No. Remember, we take care of ourselves because we're suffering, not because it's our fault. So there's no shame, there's no blaming. But if we can start our first year sleeping, and I mean, you think about your freshmen, if they were sleeping, game changer. I'm kind of a toddler. If I don't get enough sleep, I also start to dysregulate. And so,
I get plenty of sleep.
He goes to sleep at 9:30 every night.
I go to bed at 9 every night, and I wake up at 6 a.m. every morning.
My bad.
And you will live forever.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I mean, I will.
Everybody for
Thank
Aaron.
you. Thank you. And I will be leaving.
Grandpa, but also like
so
I
healthy.
get that.
I have 8 a.m.s every day, so it's just like I can't.
No,
I'll
that's
get so
real.
sad.
Wow.
I will say like same, like literally prioritizing sleep over everything was like number one for me.
I found that if I don't have enough sleep and water, like I get really, really agitated, like the tiniest things. I have so much patience.
Dehydration affects how your brain functions. People have been telling you to drink water for years.
Right.
It actually helps your brain. And
That's
so
where I'm
I'd be
at.
happy too.
Yeah.
So yes, you can sleep to accomplish more. I'm very task oriented. Productivity is like my favorite. But also, think about the quality of your relationships. We cannot be exhausted and present.
Mercy.
And,
say it again.
Yeah, right? And so, you cannot have like plummeting blood sugar and be starving and shaky or like severely dehydrated or all of these things and be present. And this is your time. These are your years and you deserve to have a quality experience.
And the stereotype
Hence the QEP.
is like starving, broke,
Yeah, I know.
tired,
The
failed.
statistic you told me a long time ago, I won't make you recall it, but about the 2 or 3 years ago, they did a study on students here, and the students were getting like 2 meals a day. And
no. Yeah. So I didn't, well, it wasn't quite a study, but I did an audit of my files, and it was like, it must have been like 3 years ago now, or 4 years, because we did an event afterwards, because I was like, we gotta sleep. So, I audited my files, and it was over 75% of my client load was sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night, was eating like once a day, wasn't exercising, and then they're like, why do I feel so bad? Well, you might also have anxiety. You might also have, depression. And so we don't want to we want to be really respectful of people who have a diagnosis. We don't want to say like, well, I'll just sleep or whatever. That won't fix everything for some people, but it may take a little bit of the burden off.
Right. I mean,
a
it's
little
like,
bit of
I
the
can
stuff
manage
enough.
my stress, but it's like my body's naturally producing more. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like I can get really good at getting sleep, at eating well, at exercising, at making sure I'm not overloaded, but my body's always going to be like, what's going on?
And that's where it comes in that we can restructure our brain, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So then you're aware of it, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Right.
So you know when it's getting to this point how to hopefully bring
and
it
I
down.
can like catch it and be like,
Yeah.
ooh, girl, you need
Relax.
to go home. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
put this off, email my professor. Also, life hack for a student, email your professors, especially here, so understanding.
Yes.
Like if you are really having a hard time, like you can contact them and you could be like, please.
Yeah,
and they'll be
Southern
like,
is good for that.
okay,
The
praying
professors
for
are
you.
really nice.
Beautiful. It's so amazing.
Well, and I think, we did a survey for the faculty and employees as well, and over 90% of them, were reporting just these high concerns about student mental health. Because we wanted to make sure is campus on board for this. And the feedback we got was, we want you to give us training. We want to know how to help these students. We care about them. We're looking at them. We can see that they're struggling, and we want to know what to do, just like, our student leaders want to know. And so yeah, communicate. Because they're humans too, and some of them struggle with the same things, and will have empathy.
So to kind of like wrap things up, and maybe we should have mentioned this earlier, but like what sort of resources has Southern upped, does Southern have now to kind of like debunk maybe like any like previously held like, oh my gosh, there's not enough, or I'll save it for someone else. Like what sort of resources are there now?
Absolutely. So this is technically our planning year. So it's year 0 of the QAP. Year 1 starts in the fall.
Okay.
And so right now, the counseling department has already beefed up their services. There are 3 full-time counselors, 2 part-time counselors, a counseling intern, a social work intern who's doing counseling, and there are 2 counselors embedded in the dorms in the evenings, for those of you who did not know that.
Wow.
So what we found was that some of our students were working and going to school, and their schedules were so busy they didn't have access to the services.
It's true.
In the
awesome.
evening.
When did
And
they do that?
we're not open. That was last year. And they've been full. There's one who's in Thatcher, I think, 2 nights a week, and one who's in Talge 2 nights a week. And so you just schedule by calling the regular counseling office, but that's a program that's going really strong because some of our students who are doing the most, who have the most pressure, are the ones who need the mental health support the most. So we wanted to create that for them. We have been working really hard on our programming for next year to make sure that we're getting out into the campus community. Not everybody will come to counseling, right?
True.
Or maybe like you need more, you want to share more, and so we need to be out in the campus, where the students are, offering them things, giving them things. Part of it is having these kind of conversations. What I want to invite everyone who's watching to do is email me if you have ideas, if you want to get involved, because I've been soliciting it from every student that I talk to. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need. That's what we want to create. And a lot of internships we're offering for the QEP to make
good.
sure students are creating some of the content.
That's
It's
cool.
so smart.
That's so
Yeah,
smart.
and
That's so
so
smart.
if you're interested, hit me up. And so if this doesn't benefit students, then there's no point to doing it, right?
What's your email?
Okay, so it's tkbartell@southern.edu. So T is in Tiffany, 2 L's. T is in Tiffany, K is in Kate's, but it's not Kate. My middle name's really long, and it's Hawaiian, and you don't want to know. But anyways, B.
wanna
know. wanna know.
Okay, save for later. BARTELL and at southern.edu, and would love to hear feedback. Just want to hear feedback from students, from student leaders, from faculty, from staff, all the feedback, because we want something that's usable.
Well, you heard it here first. Southern does care about your mental health, so that's great.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, Mrs. Bartell, thank you so
guys.
much for
Thank you
being
guys
on
for
today.
having us.
It's always fun. We'll have you on again soon.
Yes. Oh, and my middle name is Kame'i Aloha.
Wait, what does it mean?
It means with great love.
That's
Amen.
awesome.
Yeah. Wow, that's so beautiful.
Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Ignite. Make sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, as we will be as well, because we don't know what it is yet.
Oh, we don't?
Nope, not
Nice.
yet.
Well, in that case, would you please like, subscribe, give us a follow on our socials, and if there's a certain topic or like conversation that you want us to have, we would love to talk about it.
Maybe
So.
it'll be next week's. Until then, goodbye.
Maybe.